Thank you. I love you. It's nice to be sitting in the seat again. It's been a long time. I was going through a lot of stuff.
Colder?
A couple years ago, and I basically, got out your videos and
Warmer?
watched stuff and got into a better perspective.
Warmer?
Wrote some affirmations and
Warmer?
asked the universe to basically surprise me and solve all my problems.
Warmer, but we feel an iceberg coming on. Do you?
Okay. So I asked the universe to sort of move heaven and earth and help me change my situation.
Warm words don't count if you're leading for a big cold thing.
Okay. Basically, I wanted to sell my house and change my situation, and I wanted more money. And Hurricane Sandy came and put 5 feet of sludge in my basement. And I just threw my hands in the air and said, help me, universe, and send me good stuff. And
sometimes that's the only thing that will cause you to do the only thing that works, which is give up. Because what you give up, you don't ever give up your desire, but sometimes you give up all the bogus, resistant processes that have never worked anyway.
So I came home then, and there was a little notice on my door, have cash buyer for your house, call us if interested. And I was like, normally I would throw something like that away, but I said to myself, well, I've heard that there's this hedge fund buying properties, and I'll call, and it was, and they gave me a great price on the house, and it was like the universe, I've been in your teachings a while now, and they do work, but I get in this mode where my attraction is not smooth, and it's like the universe had to take me down to the ground to bring me back way up.
Well, it isn't that you're being taken down. It's that sometimes you put so much resistance in your path that an avalanche is necessary. In other words, it's the resistance that you're putting there. In other words, it could be in other words, it's like, so you're exploring the contrast, and you know what you don't want, which means you know what you do want. But you don't think about what you do want, you think about what you don't want, which causes you to know more clearly what you do want, but you don't think about what you do want, you think about what you don't want, which causes you to launch another rocket, so there gets a wider gap between where you're hanging around and what you desire. Well, when your desire is really, really strong and your resistance is really, really in place, a strong desire will continue to summon the energy, but it doesn't look like a smooth path. Does that make sense to you? Because when you really, we're going to make a statement that you're going to want to argue with, and then we're going to tell you why it's still a good statement. When you have powerful desire, that desire can summon around big wads of resistance. Little desire, resistance will stop it. Big desire, resistance doesn't stop it, but it's a rough ride. It's a rough ride. So when you decide, when you accept that you've filled your vortex full of things that you want, and even though they're not yet manifested, they still exist, and you decide to chill out, to stop working so hard, to stop being so introspective and so hard on yourself, and not being so blameful of government agencies or somebody you're living with, or we're not being exactly personal to you, but sort of, kind of. And so then, as you soften the things that you're day-to-day beating the drum of, so that you're thinking more about the music, as our friend was doing, things that feel good to you, then this big asking can be answered in easy ways. A few years ago, Jerry and Esther bought a property in Del Mar, and they have an ocean view. But there was a large Torrey pine tree down the hill that was blocking a good part of their view and other people's too. The Torrey pine trees were brought over from someplace, and they're not supposed to be watered. They're wild trees. They're not meant for neighborhoods, but there are a lot of them in neighborhoods. And as they get more water, they get unwieldy. They get too big. They get out of balance, and occasionally they fall on houses and they fall on the highway and such. And so this was one of those trees, sort of leaning, really blocking view. So Jerry said to the owner of the house, we will, if you would like us to, it would benefit us too, we'll have that tree removed. It was $10,000 to remove the tree. And we will landscape your property once the tree is is gone so that you'll be happy where you live. Well, of course, the owner of the property did not want to do that, and Esther and Jerry understood that because trees matter, and so they left it. And then that person sold the house and another person bought the house, and so Jerry made the offer again, and that person said no. And then on New Year's Eve, a big limb of that tree fell on the neighbor's house, and so they called and said, "Is your offer still good?" And Jerry said, yes, it will benefit you and it will benefit us. And so a company came in. It was remarkable to watch the crane and the saws and the men and the balance and the way they removed this giant tree. And so the tree is gone, and the view is magnificent, and their yard is beautifully landscaped. And Jerry took such pleasure in realizing that he had desired that view, and it came about from his perspective with relative ease. And so Esther is standing there with Jerry, and they're looking, and the view, it's wide open. And then there's another tree that's blocking a little view over there, and Esther said, "Okay, you want to do this the hard way or the easy way?" Well, that's what we want to say to you all the time. Do you want to do it the hard way or the easy way? Do you want to wait until the sludge fills your house? Do you want to wait till the limb falls on your tree, or the tree falls on your neighbor's house? In other words, you get what we're getting at?
I get what you're getting at, and there's another example of that, and that's when I bought my new house, because I pulled out of the deal initially because there was a foreclosure and it brought the value of the house down, and I walked away and went to another deal which ended up being a short sale that the guy didn't know was going to be short, and so that fell apart too. And then the original deal got reconstituted, so this house came back to me that I was in love with.
So stop just for a moment
Okay.
and let us just emphasize that when we say you can't get there from here, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
But sometimes experiences cause you to keep adjusting and adjusting and adjusting and adjusting, because eventually everything that you want will get to you. The question is, how long is it going to take for you to chill out and just start expecting good things to come?
Right.
You see what we're getting at? Conversations about things that take a long time cause more things to take a long time.
Okay.
Conversations about the ease of thing cause more things to have the ease of. In other words, here you stand as a receiver from the universe, and the way you feel determines how it comes to you. So if you've got strong desire for well-being, and certainly deservability for well-being, and by well-being we mean physical well-being, we mean abundance, we mean clarity, we mean joy and love, and all of the things that a good life means to all of you. We mean all of that. So here you stand with all of those things wanted and all of those things flowing to you, and to one degree or another you are allowing it to happen the hard way or the easy way. Every word you speak, every conversation that you have with someone else, every emotion that you feel is your indicator of whether you're making it harder for yourself or easier for yourself. And we think that what happens to you is because you've been approaching your life through action, where it feels to you like if you're gonna get that table someplace, then you're gonna get hold of it and you're gonna move it, and it's gonna take a certain amount of strength to move it, and that's the way you think things are happening, through your focus and through your action. And we want you to understand that while that moves tables from place to place, that's not what makes this universe work. What makes this universe work are these rivers and streams of energy flowing. And when you get in the flow of these strong streams, then all kinds of things work to your benefit, and otherwise they do not. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would go to bed at night acknowledging that tomorrow's a new day, and the next day we would get up and we would be determined to hold ourselves in as good a feeling place as we could. And when we would find ourselves on a run of appreciation, we would follow it all the way out. In other words, our singular intention would be to find a way of approaching any subject in the world in a way that feels good while we are doing it. So
at what point then, I've set my intention, I'm moving forward.
It's in the vortex. It's in the vortex. Wait, let's say that different. I've set my intentions. It's in the vortex. It's moving forward because law of attraction says that it must.
At what point do I get the signal, if there is a signal, to take the inspired action?
At the point that you're not all wadded up in it. You see, that's the thing that we want you to understand. At the point that you stop trying so hard.
Okay.
Jerry used to he asked us this question so many times because he was helping people financially. And first they'd lose the boat, and then they'd lose the car, and then they'd lose the other car, and then they'd lose the house, and they'd go all the way to the bottom, and then things would bounce back and turn around for them. He saw it over and over and over again, and he said, why do they have to go all the way to the bottom before things turn around? Why couldn't they just lose the boat and it would turn around? Why couldn't they just lose the boat in the first car and it would turn around? Why do they have to go all the way to the bottom before it turns around? And we said, because it isn't until it goes all the way down that most people give up the battle, that they just finally say, all right, I give up, I let go. It's a letting go. It's a letting go of the belief that you're making it happen through your actions, and it's an accepting that you are deserving of it. We think it's because of the comparison that you make with each other, and you're wanting to prove your own worthiness by discounting theirs. And every time you discount somebody else's worthiness, you diminish your own. You've got to be a well-wisher for them too, you see. When you're in this competitive spirit where you're trying to outdo somebody else, in your you're pushing against them, you're actually pushing against you. So there's this just sort of letting go of all of it. What it really is an acceptance. That's why Esther just wanted to put her arms around that baby and around everyone that she knows, to say, you are good. Good is coming to you. You deserve the good that is coming. Give up the battle. Give up the struggle. Give up the competitiveness. Give it all up and accept the goodness that is in your vortex. Let it flow into your experience by loving that tree, by loving that toad, by loving that lizard, by finding something simple that doesn't get you all wadded up.
Okay.
It's like rewiring yourself.
So in other words, whatever I want, whatever my intention is, I should just put it out there and not get hung up on details or...
Well, you see, it's easier than that.
Yeah.
You don't have to put your intentions out there. They just go out there.
Okay. Okay.
There's no putting them out there. They're out there. If you live in a house with not enough closets, more closet goes in your next house. In other words, it's just the way that it works. Your intentions...
So the way to speed up a manifestation is to just get rid of all resistance.
The way to speed up manifestation is to slow down resistance.
Okay.
To get the resistance out of the way.
Okay.
But when you try to get resistance out of the way, you make it more. When you say, I'm going to get rid of that, now your attention's on it and it's getting bigger even as you speak. So how do you cause something to stop increasing in your vibration? How do you stop it from increasing?
I think about something else or change my...
Isn't that just brilliant? That's the only thing that ever works. You take your attention from it, because this is a universe based on inclusion. There's no exclusion. You can't say no. You go, you come, and you go. Because what you're actually saying, you that I want, come to me, and you that I don't want, go away. They both come.
Okay.
Because attention is attraction. So you have to cease the attention. So how do you stop thinking about something? By thinking about something else, or by going to sleep. Or by meditating. You can quiet your mind when you meditate. But we don't want you to spend your time meditating. And we really don't want you to spend your time not thinking. But if what you're thinking doesn't cause you to feel good, then you've got to find some way to break the evil cycle, so to speak. It's not evil. We're playing with you.